sure the pan is centered. And the fluid looks really good. So we got most of the fluid out, and what I'm gonna do is reinstall this plug. Alright guys, I got my universal with a short 10mm. Okay, so before I drop the pan, I need to remove that piece of shrink tube. I need a screwdriver. Oh, there we go. No fluid there, so that's a good sign. All right. Some transmission fluid still in the pan, so it should come out just like that. I forgot to pull the dipstick out. Freaking dipstick. Oh, no way. Alright, let's see if it comes out. Should have pulled the dipstick. Try not to make a mess here. Yeah, there's probably about... Oh, I am making a mess now. Probably about 1/3 of a quart in here. So you're going to have 4 bolts retaining your filter in place, and they're all same size, 10mm. And we get this last one here. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a messy job. Pan is leaking. Never fails. All right. I'm gonna pull off this cork gasket. Some of these magnets here, actually all the magnets, will be inspected for chunks of steel, anything that looks out of the ordinary. Shouldn't be there. Of course, you're going to have residue, which is completely normal. These are actually the stock magnets that come with the 80 series, but I went ahead and added larger magnets. Can't even feel the grit on there. That looks very good. Kind of see a little bit of clutch material, which is normal. That's just normal wear. So I'm actually very pleased and happy with the build. So that guy actually did a good job. Alright guys, so there is my strainer assembly oil. Pretty much your internal oil filter. That's the Toyota part number right there. Brand new. Oil strainer. This is the part number for the cork gasket that goes on a A343F 4-speed hydraulic transmission. I could not find the A343F gasket, but from what I read, the A440 will fit on the A442F transmission. And by looking at these gaskets, it seems like it's gonna work. They're identical, so we are good there. Factory service manual for 94 Land Cruiser states we're looking for the oil strainer torque specs, and it calls for 7 foot-pounds on the 4 bolts, as you can see there in the picture. And for the oil pan, it's going to be 20 bolts, and those have to be tightened down at 61 inch-pounds. So these are inch-pounds. There's 20 of those bolts. We're ready to reinstall the fresh, brand new oil strainer or internal transmission filter. Cork gasket goes towards the transmission. We're going to get these bolts started by hand. We're going to snug these up just a little bit. Okay. So the factory service manual says 7 foot-pounds on the 4 bolts. Take much force. The transmission case is aluminum, so you have to be very careful not to strip out threads. Torque wrench is highly recommended. Don't forget your magnets. So we're gonna go right about here. One there. One there. So I'll move that one over there. Two big ones right there. good enough. In my case, I'm going to install this shrink tube on the lower pipe. We're going to remove any extra residue off the surface where it mounts to the transmission. We're going to install the cork gasket. Typically will not use any sealant with the cork gasket. I know the FSM calls for FIPG, which is Toyota's factory sealant, but we're not going to use that. This cork gasket is actually a very good seal. So go in, hose. The tube has to go in first. Once you have your tube, then go ahead and align your gasket and run your bolt through. Always started by hand. You don't want to cross thread anything. I'm going to put the bolt on the socket so we could actually drive it in like that. There we go. So now we're going to torque everything down to 61 inch-pounds. That's what the book says. Torque down 61 inch-pounds. We are good to go. Snug this up. Give it a left tap. That's good enough. O-ring's on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this all the way up, and we're going to apply some heat to that. That should create a nice watertight seal. I'm going to pinch these lines here. Filter here. Oh, baby. There we go. Alright guys, so now we're ready to reinstall the new filter on here. We're going to make sure we place the clamps in the same orientation. dribble there. So we have our arrow indicating flow is in that direction. Inlet, outlet. So I'm going to slide this thing through the bracket and install the outlet hose onto the filter. Release and release. Pre-service manual states for drain and refill. We're going to top it off with 6 quarts of ATF fluid. Okay guys, so this is pretty much what I use for my automatic transmission fluid. It's the AMSOIL 100% synthetic ATF. It's the Signature Series. This stuff is really good. It's made for towing, rough terrain, severe temperature, severe. So this stuff is really good stuff. And yeah, it's about 2.5 gallons per container, so I should have enough, right? It's 4 quarts to a gallon. So about 2 of these just to make sure I have enough. So let's go fill the transmission up. Dribble. Oh, come on. We were about right here. That was our starting point, which is half a gallon. So this is a 2.5 gallon container, which was right up here. So from here to this point here, this line is half a gallon, which is 2 quarts. So we got 2, 4, 6 to this line here. So we're gonna dump all this fluid up to this line here, which will give us 6 quarts. I think we're gonna be a little over 6 because of that magnifying filter. That shouldn't be too much. We're about ready to pull this funnel out. Looks like it's clear, so it fills really slow because the inner diameter of that fill pipe is tiny. I think it's about 1/2 inch, so I think we're okay. We're gonna pull this out, so we're good. So what I've added to the end of this funnel is this 3/8 hose, which helps prevent leaks from occurring. So the next step is we're going to start the truck and we're going to leave it in park and check the fluid. So we'll check the level and take it from there. So let's crank this baby over. The first 2 set of notches is for reading your automatic transmission fluid level in the cold position, and when it heats up, it expands, which moves up a little further up on the dipstick. So we're right about here along this first notch. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more to be about right center these 2 notches, and we're gonna call it good. Then once it's all said and done, I'll run the truck and get the transmission nice and hot, and we will check it once again to make sure we're right where we're supposed to be in the hot realm here. We're gonna check it one more time. I don't think we have to feel it actually. I don't think the camera's picking that up, but we're right smack middle of those two notches in the columns. So we're good. We are good to go. Alright. So it was right around 6.5 a quart for me, since I am running an external transmission filter. So we are good. And like I said a little while ago, we will run the car, get the transmission nice and hot, and recheck then. So transmission is a go.